take some time yesterday after the webinar and go through some of the stuff we covered yesterday on the C system. Hopefully you're able to watch some of the videos and go through some of the training courses and go through the forum post there and check it out. And hopefully some of you even were able to take advantage of some setups today using those. I think we covered, what, five different extra setups yesterday that you can add to your power play chart. And so some great stuff there. We talked about how you don't need a million trades a day. You need the good trades, and how the power play trades are those good, powerful trades, the ones we expect to make the good moves. But since y'all have been asking for some more trades, we were releasing some more to you. And keep in mind, guys, you know, during open house here, this open house period, we've had you focus on the power play system. And we've taught you the power play system and the indicators that are involved with the power play system and the certain aspects of order prints and reading the market. And, you know, Apex does actually have quite a few other systems and a few other strategies and a lot of other indicators that you've seen. And, you know, we'll slowly start dripping those back out here. And we're redoing some of the courses here that, you know, we have quite a few systems, and some of our older systems, you know, didn't have some of the aspects of, you know, the VAD and the choppy, you know, awareness and order prints, and we're kind of revamping some of those systems to make them even better. But Apex does have quite a bit to offer. But the power play system is by far the, you know, best performing system, catching the right ones. And as of yesterday, you now understand how to take some secondary entries on the power plays, and you know, now know about those 5 entries on C's. And today I'm going to show you a few more. Some of them are new, some of them are different, some of them are variations of C's, but they're power C's, as it were. And so we're going to show you some of those. So a couple of quick things here. I showed you this yesterday on the weekly webinar calendar. And as I promised, I added quite a bit to it. As you can see here, just this week, there's quite a few webinars. Some of these webinars are live webinars that I'll be doing, and a couple of them are pre-recorded webinars. So like, for example, if you go to one of the webinars and it gives you the date and time and you can register here, well, get registered for it. It's a live webinar. But some of these, I've put in quite a few Nadex webinars here. Next week, I am going to be doing some live webinars on Nadex binaries, Nadex spreads. You know, we're going to do a webinar next week on binaries, show you some new binary setups, some additional binary setups in power plays, and some different types of binaries. But I've kind of mingled in, if you go to some of these, it'll say this is a pre-recorded webinar. You can watch it now or anytime, and it'll take you straight to the webinar. So throughout the rest of the week here, and then if you go up to, excuse me, next month, September, check that out. You are jammed packed, okay? And I've got a lot of stuff going on here. You know, we've got a bunch of webinars about the mentor program, trailing stops. I've got a 3-part series on advanced training on order prints, part 1, 2, and 3. You know, we might do some additional webinars that aren't even on here about order prints and trailing and about chop stuff. You know, I've got all kind of binary and spread webinars mixed in here. That way you can start watching some of those and, you know, get a good idea of some things you really need to know. Some of you might be like, well, I've traded Nadex, I understand this stuff. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. There's some great stuff in here about really understanding, you know, top mistakes with spreads and risk and reward with spreads and some premium collection strategies. And if you get some of these basics down, some of the stuff I'm going to be teaching over the next couple of weeks will really hit home and make a lot more sense, and you'll be able to put it to use a lot quicker. Okay, so all kind of great stuff in here. Check out these webinars. Like I said, some of them you can watch right away. They're pre-recorded. Check out these other ones and get signed up for them. And once again, remember Mondays, tomorrow we're going to do an overview on the mentor program. Friday, we're going to start our webinars about some trailing stops and order prints. And then over the weekend, you've got some pre-recorded ones you can watch. Monday, we'll release the all-new oscillation detector. That way, it gives you a little time Monday to check it out and get it on your chart for you know, Monday night and Tuesday trading. And you know, we've got a holiday here on Monday. Okay, so a lot of webinars coming up, and once again, this webinar and every other webinar will be recorded. And just a reminder, if you go right here to webinars, click right here, open house webinars, it's all right here. Okay, in fact, that one I did yesterday, right? Additional trades to your power play chart. You can just click right on it. You don't have to go through every single one to get to the one you want. And that's where yesterday's webinar is. That's where today's will be, and all those you see there on the calendar. Okay. All right, let's jump right in. All right, I don't want to keep you 2 hours like I did yesterday. I know y'all loved it. We had some great back and forth and great questions. There's a little bit of a new addition here. If you go right here to the forum, go to Help Desk and Forum, go right here to Trading Questions Forum, and you scroll down. Give me just a second here. Okay, and you go down into S10, into C's, all right? You're seeing some different stuff on my forum here because I have a different access forum, but right here under S10 C's, you go to Ultimate Power Play, just like you've seen before. You'll notice, if you remember here from the training course, right here, the Ultimate Power Play, that's all your Ultimate Power Play setups. That's the forum post we walked through in the course. You now see a new one, okay? It's called Additional Powerful Setups. And these are the ones that we're going to cover today, okay? And we're just going to jump right in. All right, y'all ready? Any questions before we get going? Anything before we get going? I just want to dive into these 4 other trades here, add them on to what we taught you yesterday, and get you some more trades to use. And then we're going to jump into the next 30 days of our education cycle here with the webinars. Okay, so thank you so much to Lori. And by the way, I'm sure all of you guys know who Lori is, right? Lori Hell, you've seen her in the room. You've seen her do the THT, the Trading Helping Traders webinars. Randall just took the words out of my mouth. She is the best. And you see her, she's a leader in the room there. You're going to hear a lot more about Lori tomorrow when we talk about the mentor program. And Lori is the mastermind behind the C's system and the power play systems, and she leads a couple of groups of mentors that have really helped us test a lot of these systems, and she's taken a group and helped them learn these systems in and out. I'm sure you're very familiar with some of those guys as well in the room, okay, that really jump in and help you. They're part of one of those mentor groups that Lori took under her wing and mentored, and now they're mentoring you, okay, and that's kind of what we're going to be offering and talking about a little bit tomorrow in the mentoring group, okay? So thank you so much to Lori for helping us get this all together, and she got this forum post together for me here and got these screenshots for you, her and the mentor group, and we're going to go through them here. Okay, so these are not power plays, all right? Our power plays are what you learned in the training course, 4 different setups, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are not technically power plays, but these are some extra powerful setups, all right, that, you know, utilize some of the seeds and some of the power play aspects altogether. So yesterday we talked about C's, and what are 2 of the things we covered? We talked about slings and elevators, right? Everybody remember that? Okay, well, this is a special type of sling or elevator. Okay, it's a power sling or power elevator. A sling or elevator that has a cluster as it's passing through a swing level. Now, before we jump in any further, let me pull up a chart here. So you're all familiar with your power play templates, right? Is everybody familiar with these right here? These dots. See these dots? I know there's a lot of stuff on this chart. See these dots here? Let me show you on a clean chart. Okay, here's a clean chart with just diagnostic bars of the NASDAQ. And let me just pop on here real quick. Swing. Okay. Yep, that's swings, right? Okay, so there you see it clean. Okay, so let's talk about swings real quick, or swing levels. They're very simple. All it is just a point of where the market went to once before, and then turned around, right? So right here, the market's coming down, 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 and right here it reversed, okay? And you don't get a new swing level here on every bar that reverses. It's got to go a couple bars before it plots one, right? Because you don't want them all over the place on every little pullback. So this is where the market had come to, and then it started to pull up. So that's a swing level, and it draws this out for you so you can visually see that and see where the market last reversed, right? Okay, and then the market comes up here, and that's another swing level, and it reverses and it comes down. Then it pulls back up. So it made another swing level here a little higher than this last one. But remember this swing level right here. So it's drawing it out, right? And it'll draw it out until that level's broken. So as the market's coming back up right in here, what is it approaching? It's approaching this swing level, meaning it's approaching its last, or one of its last highs, a previous high point, a previous swing or reversal point. And sometimes those can be pretty strong levels, right? At that level, the market may what? It may reject it and say, nope, we're not going past that level. We came up there, we're coming back up. Nope, that's like a resistance level. Okay, so at that swing level, it could reject and the market go the other way, right? The other thing that could happen at swing levels is it can kind of just bounce around and start chopping out, or it can blow through a swing level, just like you see here, right? Or over here, made one, came back up, just went a little bit past it. Now, a lot of you guys like to do swing trading, or maybe you've heard of swing trading, right? And well, there's different aspects, different variations of swing trading, but in a nutshell, like a basic swing trade is, I'm taking the trade when the market breaks the swing. When it breaks that previous swing point, I'm going to go take it up, right? Right here, it pulls back. When it breaks this swing point, I want to take it up. Well, as you can see, that wasn't a very big trade right there, right? Now over here, for example, makes a swing point, pulls back and comes up, breaks that swing level and goes way up, right? Everybody see that difference there? Sometimes breaking those swing levels doesn't really do a whole lot. Sometimes it can do an awful lot. All right? So, makes sense? Everybody see that? Everybody understand what a swing level is? Everybody understand what this swing indicator is? And why it plots and the way it plots and how it goes away once that swing is broken. Make sense? Now, what we just went over right there, do you notice anything this swing level right here? Do you really notice much right here at the break of the swing level in the bar? Now, granted, we don't have all the other indicators on. We don't have order prints on, right? Okay. But if you took this trade and you bought right here to take that swing break, you're probably not much of a happy camper right there, are you? Because what did the market do? It just immediately went against you. Correct? Everybody see that? What do we see kind of different without ever looking at everything else? What do we see different right here when it broke this swing level? What do we see on this bar and what do we see on this bar? Without looking at VAT or order prints, we see slings, right? We see slings. Okay? So everybody get that basic there? Okay. Well, then let's jump right in. So, does this make a little more sense now? A power sling or elevator is what? A sling or elevator that has a cluster as it's passing through a swing level. So without even going any further into the training, just based on what you know already about power plays, what you know already about clusters, what you know already from C's yesterday, does that make sense just looking at this right here of why that could be helpful to you in knowing that when the market's coming back up to a swing level, you feel a little more confident about it when it comes up to that swing level, breaks through it a little bit, pulls back, getting some power, strength, momentum, like a bow and arrow, like a slingshot. There's a mini magnet, there's a cluster, there's whatever, and it shoots up. Doesn't that just make sense that you're going to have a little more push out of that swing level, breaking that swing level, when it's not just a regular old bar and a regular old little boop through swing level? It's got all those aspects. A pullback sling to get more momentum and go, a cluster building accumulation to go, hopefully even a mini magnet, maybe even some double bolts, all those other aspects of order prints. It just makes sense without going into this long training why that would make for a more powerful trade and why it'd make you feel better about it, right? Okay. Now, notice something else. Right here, we also have a sling. We have a sling right here, don't we? But this sling bar, where was the close of the bar? Was it breaking the swing level, or was it under the swing level? It was under. Okay. Do you see that difference right there? I'm glad I pulled this chart up. That just was random. Do you see that difference there compared to the difference of these two slings? That when these bars closed, they were breaking that swing level. They were already past it. Okay? So you see that difference there? That's very vital to understand. Okay? Because this was having to pull back and gain pressure just to get up there. This went past it. You know, this pulled back and went past it, pulled back again, and broke through it, and boom. You see those couple little key differences there on swing levels. Because this is important for you to get. Because literally, just the difference of, I mean, there's not even much space between that top of that bar and that swing level, is there? Like, it's almost an obscure, like, oh, that shouldn't matter. That's so like 1 tick or 2 tick. But do you see how that little difference right there is actually important of where that sling is? It matters. Okay, do you see that? A lot of times people tell me, man, I get this, I understand, it's just a sling right around a swing level. Okay, well, you might have the overall, but these couple little details are actually very important. Can you see the difference right in front of your face from today's chart? Okay, so let's dive in here. So a sling or elevator has a cluster as it's passing through a swing level. What makes the best one? Just a swing level and just a cluster and just a sling or elevator? Well, you can take those, yes. If it's a sling or elevator with a cluster and it's passing through, you can take those. But what makes them the best? Well, the location of the cluster is in front of the swing level. We'll talk about that. There's also a mini magnet on the sling bar in addition to the cluster. And the best ones are the ones that immediately follow after a power play 1, 2, or 4. Remember we talked about this yesterday in C's, right? You got 5 new C setups. And when can you trade the 5 C setups? After a power play, in the direction of a power play only, until a new power play changes the direction, right? Okay, so again, these are great trades, but the best ones are after a power play. Now, there are swing levels that are not always marked with these dots, okay? Or they might be previous swing levels where the dots, you know, you're not still seeing them drawn out, or you know, a swing level would be like right here. Okay, maybe not the best example, but there's not dots here just because, you know, the algorithm behind these dots, you know, so many bars have to go a certain amount before it'll draw. But technically, this is a swing level as well, isn't it? You see that? That's still a swing level, even though these aren't drawn out. Okay, so these are helpful for the obvious swing levels, but they're not the only levels you can look at. Okay, like let's say this market as it's coming up right here, let's say it kept going up. Well, this is technically a swing level here too, or a level of resistance or some chop. Okay, does that make sense? So it's not only levels where these dots are, but those are going to be a little stronger, more defined areas. Does that make sense? Okay, so when it has actual swing dots marking the level, and the body of the swing, the body of the sling, not the wick, is going through the swing level. Let's take a look here. And again, you've got access to this forum post. You can go all the way through here as well. So right here, what do we have? Let's open this up a little bit. Can you see? It's a little hard to see because it's also covered over with this other one. But you see the swing level right here? The green dots are hard to see, but they're there because they're at the same price as the high of the day. You see it right here? Okay. Now notice these broke up, and on the actual break, it didn't have any of those things. But then what does it do here? It pulls back. Okay. See this? It pulls back with a cluster. All right. And then it turns into an elevator and closes up. You see that? So that's an elevator there. All right. So when we see this pullback to the swing level, and we see the cluster, and then the elevator closes up, all right, we enter 1 to 3 ticks above that and take it up. Okay, does that make sense? So they don't always have to be on this actual one that breaks, or it doesn't have to be an elevator right there at the break. It can break it and then do the pullback and go. Okay, does that make sense? Everybody see that? Pretty simple, right? Okay, so we broke a swing level. We do have a power elevator. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple other examples here. A power sling with a mini magnet, okay, is very, very powerful. All right. Again, see right here, what makes them even better than just a regular sling or elevator at a level with a cluster is a mini magnet on the sling bar. Here's an example of that. Okay, market's coming down. Okay, and you see it right here. See the dots. See that? That's a swing level. The market had pulled down, got a swing level right here. And as it's coming through the swing level, okay, this bar has a mini magnet, it has a cluster, and it's breaking through the bottom there of the swing level. There's a cluster right there at the level. The entry is 1 to 3 ticks below the close of the sling bar. Okay, your stop is where? Your initial stop is 1 tick above the high of the sling bar because it's a downtrend. And yeah, great entry. And what happens? You get a nice, good move out of that. Everybody see that? All right. And then what actually happens a couple bars later? Let's say you missed that initial entry right there. What do you get again right here? A pullback into the swing chop, the swing level, close back down with a cluster. Gives you a second opportunity there too. You see that? Everybody see that? Remember we talked a lot about that yesterday, right? About secondary entries. Okay? So does that make sense, guys? This is not talking about, we talked about slings yesterday and what they are in general, as a general trade. These are, the power slings are when you get the sling or elevator at the swing levels. Do you see why that's powerful at the swing levels? Because that's a previous place where what? Where the market stopped. It couldn't break that point. But then when it's coming back to that point, it's pulling back for some more speed and momentum. It's leaving a mini magnet, it's closing down with a cluster. We're getting the power to push through there, right? Like when you're trying to get up a hill and you only get to a certain place and you pull back and gather steam and you just take off with more energy and you get farther. You're pushing through it, through a level. Easy enough to see? Make sense? Okay. All right. So let's take a look at a couple more here. Then I'll, some of your questions are going to be answered as we go through here. So if you're asking questions, I'm not ignoring you. Some of them are going to be answered here in a moment. And if not, I'll try to come back and answer them, okay? All right, so let's take a look here. Here's a good example of a power sling as it's breaking out of a chop box. If you missed the breakout bar, then the next bar is a second entry point. This entry would be 1 to 3 ticks below the sling bar. Let's take a look here. Okay. Yeah, John, the cluster is the purple. Okay. On this particular chart, the way, we have the colors on this chart, it's the purple you see right there. Like there's another cluster here. Here's a cluster. Those are the clusters. Okay, John? So right here, what do we have? We have a power play number 4, right? Chop. And right here we have a chop breakout, right? So we've got the clusters, we've got the chop, we're at a level, we've got bad building and exceeding. So our number 4 trade would have been where? Right here, right? We'd entered the number 4 trade right here to go south. Now, let's say that we missed that first entry. Okay? Well, what happens on this next bar right here? We have a sling that it pulls back into the chop box, and then it closes back down with a cluster. You see that? So let's say you missed that first entry. You've got another one right there. Okay, and what's so great about order prints is what do we even get on the very next bar? On that down close bar. A momentum star, right? Even confirming more for us that momentum is pushing down and going down. You see that? That's really helpful to see, right? Then what happens when we get down to this green ice level here? We do a little pullback, and we have a what? A sling with a cluster. Where does the market keep going? See that? Even another possible reentry down there. Okay, but we're not so much focused on those. I mean, here's another one at the blue ice that you could have popped another 10 ticks on or kept going. So we're not necessarily focusing on these other potential entries, but I'm just kind of pointing them out to just show you with everything we've covered yesterday on C's and today with this, we're training and teaching you on certain entries, but I'm kind of showing you all these others to once again tell you there's plenty of trades. Okay? Remember that little agreement we made yesterday? No more whining and complaining about not enough trades. Trust me, they're here if you learn them. All right, so everybody see that. That's also a swing level, right? That chop breakout's also a swing level. Okay, but whether it's a swing level or a breakout of chop, that level there, you pull back, you have a sling bar, closes down with a cluster. Okay? Easy cheesy? Makes sense? All right. Let's take a peek here. I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of these to make sure you see them. Okay? Lori did a great job, her and the guys, of getting these screenshots together and got them in here for us, got them marked up. So here's a great power play sling confirmed by order prints. Now, I'm going to actually utilize this same exact screenshot in our webinar we do Friday about trailing stops, and I'm going to utilize this in some of our order prints advanced training, because when you really start to see this picture and read order prints like this, things start to become a little clearer to you. And there's a very similar screenshot like this in the power play, I think it's a number 4 power play setup screenshot we have, Lori, talking about this. Okay, very similar to this. So what do we have here? We got the market coming up, and then we go into chop, right? Go into chop. Now look here, all of this net negative volume. Remember, what is this top number? Total volume. The second number is net volume, right? This top number, see here, 4014. That means in this bar, all of the buys and all of the sales combined add up to 4,014. But there was 364 more sellers in this bar than there were buyers. right? So the market's coming up, 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 and we've got this huge down push bar with big net negative. Then look at this next bar. It's orange, right? Everybody remember what orange bar is? Divergent bar. What does that mean? Well, the bar closed up, but look, it had negative 154. You know, so you have 154 more sellers in this bar, but the bar still closed up. So you got this huge push down, couldn't push down anymore. You still got 154 more sellers, but the bar closed up. You get another bar here with negative 278, another big push down, then 85, another push down, and then 115 more sellers in this bar than buyers, but the bar still closed up. Another push of 134, couldn't get any further down. What do you see right there? Like, just looking at that, what do you see happening? Even if you can't see what the market actually does, if you're just watching that and you're learning to read that, is it pretty clear that the sellers are coming in here and really trying to push this market down, but they just can't do it? Right? I mean, do you see it? Does that make sense? I mean, and that's why that chop is going on there too. Yeah, Ivan. I mean, you see that, right? So you know you're in chop. And you're not in chop with like just a few little orders here and a few little orders here. You've got some big bars and some big net volume going on. They're building, they're pushing, they're wanting to go somewhere. Now, you want to make sure the other rules get followed. But what are you already thinking right here is going to happen in this chop box? That it's going what way? Up. Right? That's pretty clear to see. Yeah, that's definitely chop. But you can already kind of see based on those numbers that, all right, well, here's chop. Here's our chop box. We're going to break out of it. I don't know which way for sure, but these numbers sure tell me it doesn't want to go this way, or it's not going to go that way. It's going to go up, right? And so you already see that going into this. And then what do you have here? You've got an up close bar with positive net. You got another up close bar. You got another up close bar that starts to break the high of this chop box with an acceleration bolt. What happens on this very next bar? One more pullback into the chop box, right? One more pullback, gathering strength. And what does it do? Bam. What does it leave right here? What's this line? A mini magnet. Leaves a mini magnet. Boom. Done. We're leaving you guys down there. And we're closing up. And what do we close up with? A cluster. What do we also close up with? Blue leading volume. What else? A momentum star. What else? An acceleration bolt on this bar. Guys, it doesn't get any better than that, right? I mean, that is like, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you see the chop, you see these numbers here like trying to push down and they can't. It breaks, pulls back, mini magnet, cluster, leading volume, star, momentum, boom. That's a great trade. Okay? Yeah, Leonardo says, I love it. It makes it easy cheesy. I love that too, right? I mean, real quick here. What day is this? 8/29 at 11:44. Okay? 8/29 says yesterday. 8:44. Or no, what day is this? 8/29 at, oh, I'm sorry, 11:44. I don't know where I was getting that from. Okay, it's 11:44. Right there. See it? You see it? Once again, do you see the power of order prints? if you're just looking at bars, blank, naked bars, what do you see here? You see some chop, but do you have any idea what's going on here just looking at blank, naked bars compared to what you see there? No. Like, do you see the power of it? Imagine if you had 1 minute bars or 5 minute bars in here. You would just have bars back and forth. Okay, you'll know it's chop, but you have no indication of anything else. Now, and we don't even have on here, the other levels, and we don't have VAD to show VAD increasing. We don't have any of that. Just order prints alone shows you everything you need right there. And that's a great trade. Okay? You see it? It's good stuff. So keep an eye out for those, all right? And again, you've noticed here a couple times we've shown you if you missed the initial breakout trade or the initial power play entry, oftentimes you'll have a pullback of an elevator or a sling right after that that you can take that lines up with these, okay? Here's another one, very similar. Another one confirmed by order prints. Let's take a look at this one. All right. Once again, big push down, big push down, big push down. Couldn't do it. Cluster pops back up. No, we want to try to push down again. Nope. Here again, a divergent bar. Sellers trying to go down. Nope, we want to go up. We're in this chop box and we're seeing that ahead of time with a pretty good expectation that it's going to break up. It does break, and then what does it do? Pulls back, closes up with acceleration, with a cluster, and takes off. You see that? Now on a regular power play 4, you might have entered right in here, okay? Or if you didn't and you waited for this here, or you're looking for a second entry, this power sling pulling back into the chop box zone, closing up with that cluster, takes off. Okay? So look for these power slings and power elevators at swing levels and at the chop breaks. Now, let's real quick, and this is really great. I'm so glad Lori put this in here. Very important. Here's a chart showing a lot of slings and what would qualify as a power sling and what does not. So let's take a quick peek at this. So right here, what do we have? We have a sling, and here they're actually yellow on this chart. We have the cluster. It's approaching the swing level. See the green dots? But it's not there yet. So that is not a power sling. Does that make sense? Does everybody see that? It was a sling. It did have a cluster close to a level, but it cannot be under the level. It has to be going through the level. Okay? Everybody see that? All right, let's take a peek here. What about this one? That looks like a sling bar, but really that's just a reversal bar. Just like this one, see? Just because there's a wick and just because there's a cluster, okay, first of all, just because there's a wick does not make it a sling. It could be a reversal bar, right? Talked about that yesterday. And also, just because there's a wick and a cluster does not make it a power sling through a swing level. Okay? Let's look at a couple more here. Same here. This is not going through that level. Let's take a look at here. Here's one right here, but it's not going through a swing level. Okay? What about this one? Do you see these dots, that swing? The sling with the cluster is going through the swing level. See it? It breaks it, so that would make that a nice little 10-tick scalper there. Okay? Makes sense? So keep in mind, it's not just any sling, and it's not just any sling with a cluster. Okay? It's slings and elevators through swing levels or through or out of, right, the breakouts of chop there. Okay. Leonardo, I don't have an OP chart open, and I didn't have it open earlier today. OP will only run like while you have it open. You know what I mean? But you can run replay real quick and see anything you want to compare. But I don't have one open, and I didn't have one open earlier today because I was preparing for these webinars, so I do not have the data without running replay on it to go through each one of these. Okay. So we've got that. Does that make sense? Does everybody see the difference between slings and elevators that we covered yesterday during the C's training compared to the power slings and elevators that we're covering today through swings? Make sense? Any questions before we move on? Okay. All right, Lori, I just messaged you. Okay. So let's take a peek here. Let's see here, Abdul, the first one. Yep, right here, Abdul, third bar sling. Yep, technically that would have been third bar sling. Okay. Okay, Matt says, which side is considered the front of the level? Which side? Okay, well, first of all, are you talking about for the clusters, Matt? Is that your question there? Which side is considered the front of the level? Okay, so right here, like on the top chart. All right, so when it's breaking this level here, all right, the swing level is at the cluster. Okay, you see that? It's at the cluster level. All right, so now you want the cluster, okay, basically the best way to say it is like this, Matt. You want, let me make this bigger. You want the cluster to be at the level, preferably you want it at the level or higher on a buy, okay? As opposed to the high cluster volume area being way down here. It doesn't have to be, okay? All we're looking for to be a valid setup is that there's a cluster in the bar, okay? But remember the notes here that say what makes it the best ones is the location of the clusters in front of the swing level, and there's a mini magnet, and it's after the, okay? So just to qualify as a power sling or elevator, it just has to have a cluster. Does that make sense? But to make it even more powerful, you want to have a mini magnet, and you want it to be after a power play setup. And you want the cluster, if you see the clusters at the same level or higher on a buy, or the same level or lower on a sell, that's just a little better confirmation. That makes sense, Matt? Yeah, you want to see it after it passes through or after it right at that level. You just kind of want to see, because keep in mind, what is a cluster? It's just a high volume area, right? Okay, and if you're looking to buy and you see that it's gone through a swing level and then pulled back, you want the cluster just to be on the bar. That's all that matters. But what you'd like to see is that the big high volume battle was at that level or higher. That just shows you there was a pull higher to keep going higher, as opposed to the big battle being lower, meaning as opposed to the battle being the other way you want to go. Does that make any sense at all? It's not necessary. It's just a little bit better. Okay. So John says, is there a way to find these without being glued to the screen for many hours a day? Yeah, John, because we require a cluster, and the clusters have audio alerts. Okay, and notice the bar timer. When you think about slings or elevators, what are they? They're reversal bars. They take a while to form. And so when you have the cluster alerts on and you get a cluster alert, you know, especially for these sling and elevator trades, you normally have a little bit of time on them, you know, to be able to pop it up and pull it up and look at the surround. Okay, great. That's the beauty of the clusters. Almost every trade setup we have, you know, in any of the power play or powerful plays require clusters, and there's audio alerts. Okay. All right. Let's move forward here, then I'll come back and answer some of these other questions here. All right, so that's power slings and elevators. Someone asked me to cover elevators one more time. Let's see here, right here. Well, that was a power elevator right there, okay? Because remember, a sling is just a bar that has a long wick, and then it closes back up in the same direction. An elevator is that it pulls back enough to make a opposite closing reversal bar, then the next bar goes back up. And then when that bar closes up, it's 1 to 3 ticks above that where we enter. Okay, does that make sense, Denise? Did that answer your question? Okay, basically you look at them as the same thing. Or I'm sorry, Dennis. I'm sorry, Denise had asked something earlier too. Dennis, I'm sorry. Look at them as the same thing. All it is the market going one direction and then the market pulling back and then continuing in that direction. A sling is it just pulled back that amount and it didn't pull back enough for the algorithm calculation of the bars to make a down close bar. It just pulled down that much and then closed up and kept going. Here it went up and it pulled back enough to make a down close bar, go down a few ticks more, and then close up. It's the same concept. It's just a pullback and then a continuation. It's just a matter of how far back does it pull, and therefore how does it plot on the bar. Does that help? Is that a little more helpful, Dennis, to understand the difference there? Okay. Chip says, and it has to break back through the prior swing level for the power elevator. Yes. See, like right here, this is the swing level, okay? This bar closed back down below the swing level, had a cluster right there, then this bar closed up, therefore breaking that sling level and breaking past that cluster, and then you enter 1 to 3 ticks above it. Okay, great. All right. Okay, so let's move forward here. It's cool stuff though, right? Great trades there. Power slings, power elevators. And guys, just real quick, how many swings do you see on this chart? How many swing levels? Here's today's chart of just NQ. Now, I'm not saying every one of these was a setup, right? I'm not saying these are all a setup, of course. Let's just scroll back to yesterday. How many did we see yesterday? Okay, not every one of these would be a valid setup, but do you see how many opportunities there are just for these two trades? Just for the slings and elevators. Do you see those? How many there are? And how many markets am I showing you? One market. So imagine these trades. Here's the day before. This is Monday. Swing, 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 swing. Okay, what do you think I'm about to say? Again. Randall says, don't whine. Chip says, stop whining. David says, plenty of trades. Yes. Okay, I'm not being rude. I'm just telling you, You don't need to branch out and have 20 different systems and 20 different charts hogging up your life and hogging up your brain and hogging up your monitor space. You've got 4 different power play setups. Yesterday I taught you 5 C's trades. Today I'm going to teach you, I just taught you this one and we're going to teach you a few more. But just this first one, swing level, swing level, swing level, you got plenty. Okay? Like, just focus on that. Okay? Terrence, yes, if you go to the home page of the Apex website, webinars, open house webinars, Terrence says, do you have a recording from yesterday? And then you click open house webinars, it's the bottom one right here. 5 additional trades to your power play chart. You see it there? Cool. Okay, that's where all the webinar recordings are being put during open house. So anytime you miss anything, you can go check it out. It's right there by date and by title. Okay? Okay, so guys, tons of opportunities there. You're going to get tired of me saying that, but I'm hammering home. Number 2, Power P. Okay? The Apex Pattern P. Do you remember we talked about that yesterday? Does everybody remember that from yesterday? Let's go to this chart. Let's get rid of swings. Let's throw back on the apex pattern just real quick. Yep. Ivan, man, we're just dishing out the gold stars to you, Ivan. Pivot. P stands for pivot, right? A is alert. P is pivot. E is possible entry. X is complete, meaning it's past the previous A. Doesn't mean the trend's complete. So when we talk about P's, yes, we're talking about the apex pattern P. Okay, and if you missed yesterday's webinar, check that out. So power P's. The apex pattern P reversing off a level, not just any random P, okay, but reversing off a level with a cluster on the P bar. Does that make sense? Not any random P, but a P that, let's just say right up here, let's say that there happened to be a deviation level up in here. Okay? And no, it doesn't have to touch to it to a T, but within a bar. Okay, that's how we normally define levels. Lori, is that accurate? We want to keep that same rule within a bar of a level. Okay, that makes sense? So it's the P reversing off a level, an important level of strength. You've got a reversal bar with a P and a cluster. Okay, that makes sense? So what makes the best ones? Well, even more powerful is that they have a mini magnet on the bar as well, and they have an absorption X from order prints showing up on the bar. Now, real quick here, point of confusion. Do not confuse P and X. When we talk about the X here, we're not talking about the apex pattern X that plots on your charts like that X. Everybody see these X's? Those are the apex pattern X. And all an X is alert, pivot, potential entry. X is when the market passes that previous swing point. So when we talk about X, we're not talking about the pattern X. Okay? What we're talking about is the order prints X. And you should all know what that is, but in case you don't, just real quick here, because we're going to talk a lot about X's here today. So let's pull up institutional order prints, terms and definitions. One of the very first things in here is called what? Alphabetical order. A, absorption, okay? Absorption occurs when more buyers than sellers came in, but instead of the market moving long, the market went short. What do you expect when more buyers come in? What do you expect when a lot of buyers come in and there's a push in buyers? You expect the market to go up, right? But if that push of buyers comes in and they get rejected, they get left up there, and the sellers kind of absorb them all and the market goes down, you'd kind of like to know that, right? You'd kind of like to know, hey, that push of sellers came in and the market said, you're stuck up there. We're going to take you out now. We're going the other way. Well, do you want to just be following that little push of buyers? Or do you want to be able to see that those buyers got left behind and absorbed, and hey, we're leaving you up there, we're taking out your stops, we're going the other way? What train do you want to ride? That initial rush of buys, or the gotcha, and we're going the other way? Well, we want to hop on that train, right? Yeah. So how does that plot? Well, it's right here. See the X? That's the X we're talking about. Okay, that X stands for absorption. And that means that buyers were absorbed. There was absorption in this bar, and it's painted red to tell you the bias is to go short. So red actually means buyer's absorption. Okay, it's kind of opposite of what you might think. But if that said green X to tell you, oh, the buyers got absorbed, we all associate green with up and red with down, right? So we have it plotted as red. Now, what does that mean without digging in too much here? What is this? Up, close bar, up, close bar, up, close bar, up, close bar, right? Notice here, like, 42, 49, 58 orders on the buy side, right? Look at this bar, 69, 53, 92, 42, 30. See those number of buyers on these bars? Everybody see that? Okay, well, Dinesh, I'm actually explaining that right now. If you see these up closed bars that closed up, you see the number of contracts there? Then what do you see up here? Boom, 123, 382, 316, 199, 385, 579. These are huge numbers of buyers compared to these right here, aren't they? You see that? There was a big influx of buyers here, but the sellers just came in and said, nope. Look at the sell numbers here. 13, 18, 1, 8, 41, 25, 24. See that? Then look over here. 193, 300, 300, 300, 300, 500, 900, 800, 700. Do you see a big difference in the selling numbers here? So you see a big difference in the buying number because what? These sellers came in saying, all right, we're going to start to push down, and the buyers kept buying, kept buying, kept buying, kept buying, and they just came in out of nowhere. See all these buyers compared to all these buys? And the sellers just said, nope, we're absorbing all that. We're pushing this baby down. Those buyers just got absorbed, meaning these, even with these bigger number of buyers, they couldn't force the market up. The sellers absorbed them all and pushed it down. Okay? Dinesh, so the total bar total net is sellers. Yes, right up here. See, there was 916 more sellers than there were buyers. Okay. Yep, it's a battle between the bulls and the bears, and the bears won and pushed it down. So there was absorption there. So when you see that happening, like even more and more buyers coming in trying to go long, but they can't. These sellers just take them out and start pushing down. Do you feel pretty comfortable about taking that ride with them down? Do you want to follow the big boys? You want to follow the big push? Yeah. That makes sense? Sure. Okay. So that's the X we talk about. That's the X we're talking about right here. So the apex pattern P reversing off a level with a cluster. Let's take a peek at it. All right, so what do we have right here? We have a pull down in the market, okay? And then we have a P and an E. Okay, so we have, see the P here? We got A up here. So what did we talk about yesterday with the apex pattern? What is the first thing we want to look for? Do we want to take an A and then the next bar have a P? Or do we like having at least 2 bars between the A and P? We like having 2 bars. So do we have that? Yes. Boom. Okay. So we've got one great thing going on for us. This bar reversed off of what? What is this major level right here? What is this green level here? Green ice. We know that we like levels, and green ice is really strong. So we like that, don't we? Okay. Already setting up pretty nicely, right? What are some other things we look for in some of our trades? It's not necessarily a rule of this trade, but what does this long bar right here tell us? Yeah, got some chop, right? Again, it's not a rule of this trade, but that's looking pretty powerful. So we're off a level. We got this cool apex pattern going on, A and P. Then what else do we get right here? Boom, we got a cluster. I like that, right? And what do we know happened to these sellers that were pushing this market down? What do we know because of that green X? That's telling us those sellers got all absorbed. Now, what also do you see right here? Because this is the low point, so it made a swing level. But notice that other color behind there? What else got left right there at the bottom of that bar? Can anybody tell me? A mini magnet. Guys, we talk about this over and over again. You don't need to press buttons all day and get a million trades. You want to get the great setups. I think I just went through 7 great things there. Did I not? Chop, ice, apex pattern P, cluster, mini magnet, and X. David is kind of covered right here because this also made a green power line because of the P, but you see it kind of drawn the rest of the way over here. Like right on that same line as a mini magnet, a swing level, and a power line on the P. When the P's are there, they make a green power. You see it? Okay. But do you see how all of these things come together right there on that P bar? So yesterday when I taught you the apex pattern just real quickly, and you saw that P bars were, you know, the pivot, the reversal. Do you see how when you combine all these things with them, they become a power P? And do you see why? Now, did I just teach you to take a trade on every single P that you see? Or to take the power Ps, right? So the bar closes up. All those things confirm. We enter 1 to 3 ticks above the close of the P bar, right? Oh man, I missed that trade. I just stepped back to my desk and I missed it. What do you have on the bar right after it? The E bar, which with the apex pattern system is the actual bar we enter after anyway, right? So could you take the trade at the close of the E bar, 1 to 3 ticks above the E bar if you missed the first entry? Yes. Not only does that set you up because that's how we normally enter off that system anyway, this is just a different setup, but what else do you also have on that bar? A star, green star, which is what? Momentum. I'm telling you, you got to love it when your reversal bar leaves a mini magnet down there saying, we're leaving you guys down there. And an X saying, we absorbed all you. You're out of here. We got a cluster. And the next bar, not only do I show that the buyers got absorbed, or the sellers got absorbed, but here the buyers are creating momentum. And where do we go? Right? You see that? Power P. Okay. Pretty cool trade. So, do you understand now? All right, let me just make sure of something. Out of all the trades you can take, what are the best 4 and the first 4 you need to be looking for and get down and master? Power plays. Yep, power play 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What are the second most powerful trades you can take? These ones I'm teaching you today. Okay. The third is the C's trades that I taught you yesterday. Now, wait a minute, John. Why did you teach them to us backwards then? Well, doesn't it make it a little easier to understand these trades I'm showing you today with slings and elevators and the apex P's? Doesn't it make a little more sense today after I taught you the basics of them yesterday? Okay, so I just want to clarify that. I'm not saying that C's entries are bad. C's are great. But if you want a level of importance or of priority of what to learn and master first, there you go. Okay? But I just wanted to clarify that as to what comes first, but now you understand why I taught them to you in the order I did, right? Okay. Hope you can see we try to build on certain of these things. If I just throw this all out you at once, your head's going to explode. Okay? Arnold says there's already a template made for these trades you're showing us now. You have it, Arnold. I mean, you can pretty much take these trades off of, you can take some of these trades off of your power play template, but then we also have the actual C's template. Okay. Now, the C's template will not have the clusters and the stars showing on it unless you use the C star template, but that won't have the clusters. Okay, what we'll have to do here is give me a second and we'll go over templates here at the end. Okay. All right. But yes, Arnold, I'll show you how to get all this. Okay. All right, Lori, that has the pattern on it too, right? And swings, yeah. Your actual, yeah, actually the template that you use already right here, okay? This is the C's OP template, the one that's in the toolkit, the one that we teach you how to find in the training course. It has everything you need on it. You've got the swing levels here on it. You've got the apex patterns. Okay, yeah, you already have it all. Yeah, you have everything you need here. Okay, you see it, Arnold? Sorry, my head's a mess. I was messing with a bunch of different templates earlier and when we were setting all this up. But yeah, you've got Lori got everything on here for you. Okay, now the simple. Okay, the simple does not have it. All right, the C's OP simple does not have all of this. That's the one that's in the elite trade room, right? That way you can see it. It's not too cluttered. That's the simple one. So if you go down here to templates, all right, and you've got right here C's OP. Okay, this has all the stuff you need on it. The C's OP simple, that's the same template that's in the elite room that's cleaned up a little bit just to make it easier to see on those cameras. that doesn't have all of this stuff on it. Okay, that's just for the power plays mainly. I mean, there's a few other C's trades you could take off it, but if you want to have it all, you'd want to use the C's OP. Okay. Yeah, the C, and then we have the C star one here. That's got all of the C stuff on it, but does not have the clusters, but should have everything else. Okay. Walter, the C's OP does not have the confirmation arrow. You talking about the trend catcher arrows, Walter? Or for him? Okay. Yeah, we did not put that on there. Okay. But if you want to add that on there, you can add it on. If you want to add that to, with those slings and the trend catchers, we just took it off to make the chart simpler and not clutter it. You can add it on if you want, because there's a lot of clutter when you add so many things on here. But like Walter says, well, I don't use it. Well, remember we talked about yesterday? See this bar wick right here? See this bar wick? Do you want to take that as a sling? No. Do you need the arrows to tell you that? No. Would you want to take this one as a sling? Yeah. Remember what we talked about yesterday? You're looking for that wick, to be 3 or 4 ticks, for it to be 30% of the bar. Okay? You're wanting 3 or 4 ticks of a sling to say, okay, that's a valid sling. Now let's look at everything else. You just don't want to take these. So you don't have to have those arrows. All right? I mean, that's the basic C's instructions, it's on there, but 3 to 4 ticks is really just what you're looking for. Okay? So, all right, so let's move forward here. Power, where are we at? So power P's, right? Very cool. Here's a power P short. Let's take a look here at the short. Okay? So, real quick. Who can tell me, if you were just looking at this trade and you were thinking about power plays and you're like, this might potentially be close to being a power play trade, number what? Who can tell me? Let me get 3 or 4 answers here. It's kind of getting close. It's getting right to the line where you're like, who could tell me? Wow. I got 4 different answers. You guys need to watch the course again. Okay. All right. As usual, Ivan gets a gold star, and you get 1 too, Marion, Abdul, Dinesh. Okay. First of all, let's start with the definite no. A couple people said number 4. Number 4 power play trade is tight chop and coil chop, or chop. It's just chop. This is not a choppy market. This in no way comes close to a number 4. Okay? This is not chop. This is a downtrend, pullback, downtrend, pullback, downtrend. Okay? This is not, now, was there chop on this bar and chop? Sure, but this is in no way close to being a number 4. Okay? It is in no, several people said a number 1. This is not, I'm looking right here. Okay? We're talking about here. I'm not talking about over here. And some people said a number 2. Okay, it's not a number 1. Right here it trended down with this much volume, and then it trended a little further on less volume. But our number one setups for trending markets or only for semi-trend or range-bound markets. That is not a number one. And if you go back and watch the videos, I specifically go over the fact, and Lori specifically put in screenshots showing don't fall into this trap. This is a trap that a lot of people make a mistake of. Comparing this push down with big volume, and then one little bar, and this push down, oh, it went further on less volume. That's a number one. No, that's a trend. That's a trend. Okay? And it's nowhere, yeah, that is a trend. Okay? The potential setup here is a P3 because the market came down, pulled back, came down, and pulled way back on a lot more VAD than it pulled back on here, but it doesn't break the previous high. But here it's like, man, that might have broke it by one tick. That's a very close, right? We'd have to zoom in and see, that one's close. So look for these power Ps on your P3 setups or on iffy P3 setups. Because what do we have here? Well, we're at the half deviation level. We've got a P reversal bar with a what? With a cluster. Okay? And when that bar closes, we enter 1 to 3 ticks below it, and we take it down. Okay? Does everybody see the P bouncing off a level and a cluster? Everybody see that? Okay. Power P. Level, P, cluster, reversal, take it. Oh, man. Well, okay, Dan says, well, there's no X. And that is true. But remember the rules here, okay? That's your decision whether to take it or not, okay? But a power P just has to be an apex pattern P reversing off a level with a cluster, okay? That's the rule to take it. What makes it the best ones is when there's also a mini magnet and an absorption X. Okay, no, Dan, that was a good catch. Okay, because it's not part of the required rule just to take the trade, but are you going to feel a lot better about the trade when it has these other things? Just kind of like power plays. Remember in power plays where you have to have chop, level, VAD, and cluster to take it as a power play, right? But you can still take the setup if there's not a cluster, but you're only expecting that to be, you're looking for a scalp move on that one, okay? It's the same type of concept of when you have all the aspects together, you're expecting to be a little more powerful, okay? But no, that's a good catch, Dan, because, maybe you decide those are the only ones you want to take, okay? So you've got a great power P setup there. Everybody see it, right? All right. Now, how can you potentially know that you might get a power P setup? Well, what do you see down here? You see the market coming down, down, down. It reverses. What do you get? An A. See that A right there? Everybody see it? Well, you also see this X, so it completed the last apex. You get an up close bar, you get an A. So when you see that red A, what do you know that you'll get on a reversal bar? Most likely, unless the whole pattern reverses. Yeah, a P. So that is one of the other ways that you can start looking out for these things is when you see an A, you're expecting a P. So I see the A, I'm expecting a P at some point. I know I'm in a downtrend, pull up, downtrend, pull up, downtrend. So I'm keeping an eye out on that reversal, and I'm keeping an eye out for that trade. I'm hoping maybe I get a power P trade. I want to really take advantage. I love those trades. Oh, my phone rang. Hold on. And the kid's crying. And oh, man. It closed down and I missed it. I'm going to get in the elite room and complain and whine that I need more trades. What do you get 2 bars later? TBS, third bar sling, right? And is that just any old regular third bar sling? Ivan, there you go. Ivan, what else does it have? Yep. Ivan's the gold star winner again today. It's a third bar sling, which we know are very powerful. We talked about them yesterday. It has a cluster and a mini magnet. I'm loving that second entry right there. Am I not? Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving that third bar sling right here. Okay. Now, Lowell says that looks like a power sling. Lowell, what was one of the big things about the power slings and power elevators? What do they need to be going through? They need to be just any sling with a cluster or going through the swing level. And where's the swing level? Is it here or right here? You see it? Now, technically, it is going through an older level over here because this was a swing level too. Remember? Remember I talked about, hey, you know, the more stronger kind of in-your-face levels are the ones with the dots, but these are technically swing levels as well. So, in a sense, yeah, you're right. You could say that, Lowell, yeah, absolutely. Okay? But do you guys see how that's a great power P setup, but do you see how it's even a really, really great second entry? You see that? Okay. Now, I'm going to skip ahead. Actually, I'm going to get my stick out and go after Mr. Dan Gurin here, who just said, I need more trades, LOL. Yeah, I'll show you LOL, Dan. No, I know you're messing with me. And you know I'm trying to drive home a point here, okay? But yeah, there you go, guys. A great new entry that we're teaching you and a great secondary entry right there. Okay? I'm going to skip ahead and get off subject for a minute. I'm going to talk about this on Friday when I talk about trailing stops. How many times just in today's webinar, much less yesterday's, and much less the Power Play course, how many times have we said, okay, and there's an entry and great, you take it. And oh, you missed it. Look at this pullback. A second entry. Awesome. Have you not seen that happen over and over and over again? And not just in the webinars, not just on these screenshots, but in the elite room as well, or in your back testing. Like literally show of hands, type something in here. Tell me how many of you guys have seen that over and over and over again. All of you. Yeah. John says, seems like almost at least one every Power Play entry, quite a few times, over and over and over. Okay, so twofold thing here. And I don't think you get where I'm going with this just yet. For one, does that not show you over and over and over again that there are a ton of additional entries and a ton of second entries, meaning I missed the first entry, I can get in on that one, right? Everywhere. I've seen some of you say, I got in on that first entry and I got in another order on the second entry, right? Yeah, or some of you are even saying, I just always like to wait for the second entry. Cool. So twofold thing here I'm trying to get across to you. There's tons of entries. There's tons of second entries, right? We know they're there. We expect them. We see them. All of you just told me you see tons of them. Yes? Okay, so knowing that is the smart thing to do to expect those to happen because you see they happen all the time? Or is the smart thing to do to see this trade setup, enter 1 to 3 ticks below it, I get 5 ticks in the money, so now I want to move my stop from way up here to way down here at break even? Because I had my stop way up here, but I started getting a few ticks of profit, and now I want to move my stop way down. Because, oh, I'm a sheep, I'm a lamb, I'm a pig, I'm whatever character, you know, Daryl covered in there with you, and I just had a loss earlier, and I don't like that, and I see myself get into a few ticks of profit, and I have my P&L turned on where I can see dollar signs, and I see it get up to, and I'm going to move my stop. And then what do? Then you come back and do the same whining and complaining about not having enough trades as you do of, I keep getting stopped out. Why do I keep getting stopped out? Okay, granted, we need to dig into trailing stops more, and we're going to do that starting Friday. I know that's very necessary, okay? But, guys, you know these pullbacks are going to happen, don't you? We know it. I just asked you, how many of you see these happen over and over again? And all of you said, oh yeah, these pullback and second entries happen all the time. I see it on almost every, who was this said? I see them on almost every PowerPoint trade. They're everywhere. You know that. But then what do? You pull your stop way down and then wonder why you get stopped out on the next bar. Do you see the irony in that, guys? And then you post in the room and post in the forum, I'm not getting these big trades. I'll enter and then the market takes my stop out right away and then goes way on down. No, it doesn't take your initial stop out right away. I mean, sometimes, yeah, that happens, right? The market does that. But do you see what I'm talking about right there? Or you're like, oh, look, I got 5, 10, I'm okay. Let me pull my stop way down here now to protect a few ticks. Oh, and that one got you. I'm setting myself up for the trailing stop training here. I know it's off subject, but I wanted you guys to see because you all just saw over and over again the second entries. And what are second entries? They're pullbacks. And you all just said, I see them all the time. Now can you all start to wonder, oh, well, why do I get hit on the second bar after I enter a trade? You think it might be because you pull your stop down too close, too quick? Or maybe you want to wait for that first pullback and let it come back down and then move your stop down a little bit. You know it's coming, right? You know it's like the train is coming down the train track and you see it coming and you just go stand on the train track. You know it's coming. You saw the ding, 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 the reds come down and the right? Do you follow me here, guys? I know we need to do some more training with y'all about trailing stops, and that's one of the next things on the list. But I need y'all to see that in a little bit of a sense, you got to step back and open up your eyes and kind of slap yourself for a minute, like a couple you've already done on here going, oh, duh, I know it's coming. I just admitted I know it's coming. I just admitted I see it coming all the time, and I do it. I guarantee you just waiting on that first retrace, getting that second entry out of the way before you start pulling your stops down a little more will probably solve 50% of your issues with those quick stop outs you're having. Does that make any sense at all? Chip says, "Oh, I'm so sore from slapping myself." Like, I'm not being mean here, guys. I'm trying to get you to see this, and you all told me you saw it. And now you're like, "Oh, right. Okay." Does that make sense? Okay. Reality check. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, light bulb. Okay. For those of you that are Nadex traders, how many of you on here trade Nadex binaries with the power plays? What is the other thing I teach you? Oh, Cameron, no, you don't know how, you don't. What is it? What is one of the big things I teach about binaries? Do you want to take a binary with 8 minutes to expiration? Do you want to take a binary with 15 minutes to expiration? Well, real quick, I'm going to actually teach you how to do that next Tuesday, by the way, if you hop on a webinar. I'll actually teach you how to take binaries with power plays with less than 15 minutes to go. How do you like that? Yeah. So I'm going to teach you something new Tuesday. So be on the webinar. But we say 20 minutes to 1 hour. Why? If I enter my binary right here, what time is this? Let's just say, well, this doesn't quite line up. But if I enter this trade right here for a binary, and I don't give myself enough time, since all of you already raised your hand and said, yes, I expect that pullback, where do you think that pullback might happen? At the top of the hour? Yeah. Why do you think I tell you give yourself 20 minutes to an hour for that binary to expire? Why? Because we know, and we taught even in the initial training course that after there's a power play entry, oftentimes there's a pullback to give you a second entry. And you want to give yourself enough time in that binary expiration to get through that pullback. Does that make sense? Right, Eva, all right? Oh, that's why. We don't just make up these rules to make up rules. There's a reason for the rules. Are they starting to make a little sense now? Yeah? Special sale at Costco on light bulbs. Sounds like a few you need to grab some. You're all saying light bulb time. Yes, okay. All right. I'm not trying to be mean here, guys. I'm trying to hammer this home for the light bulb to go off and be like, oh, right. Oh, okay. Because, and again, I'm cutting into my trailing stop webinar, but you could be the master at spotting these setups. You could be the master at having the rules down on what setups what. But when you pull that stop immediately down, when you know darn well there's about to be a pullback, you're just handing your money out there. I'll give you my address. You can just mail it to me instead. I'll take it. Because that's all you're doing. It's Lowell says it's insanity. It kind of is. Okay? But I'm not putting you down. We've all been there. We've all done it. We're learning, right? And that's what open house here is for, is free time to learn. And it's like, oh, right. Daryl talked about this in his characteristics and the animals, right? If you get so scared because you see that profit starting to build, oh, I'm making some money, let's protect it. And you're not protecting it. You're just literally handing it right back because you know they're coming to get you. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, I made it back and you're still rolling. I'm still going, David. All right. All right, let's move forward here, and I'll get into this more during the trailing. So I said I didn't want to keep you 2 hours, and I'm going to do it again. But is this helpful stuff, guys? I know I'm going on and on here, but is this worth the time? Not only just these new setups, but to stop and look and see, like, see it, okay? All right. Where are we? I went off on a tangent, which I tend to do. So we saw the power P going short. We saw that, okay? All right. Another one. Power X. Power X. Once again, when I say power X, am I talking about the apex pattern X? No. I'm talking about the absorption X on order prints. Okay? So, not the pattern X. All right, so we know what the X means. So, let's take a look here. A power X is what? A reversal bar with an absorption X and a cluster that's bouncing off a major level. Doesn't that sound kind of similar to a power P? Because a power P is a reversal bar with a cluster bouncing off a level. Do you guys see how that's kind of similar? So what is the difference? Well, the power P has to have a P, right? And it's good when it has an X. Well, this is when there's not a P there. Okay, it may not be part of an apex pattern, but it's a reversal bar that requires an X. Remember, the power P doesn't require an X. This is kind of a one or the other. You follow what I'm saying there? Or did I just confuse you? Let's take a look here. Did I confuse anybody? Okay. So what do we have here? So we're coming out of this chop. The market pulls up. We're actually, what are we in right now? Well, do you see an E right here? An old E? What do you see down here? A green P and E. The apex pattern right now is actually green. Okay? The apex pattern switches, right? Red to green, depending on the market direction. And it takes, you know, a certain amount of bars and a certain amount of new higher highs and lower lows for it to switch its overall pattern. It doesn't switch all the time like with every up and down closed bar. So technically, we're in a green apex right now. It hasn't reset. Okay? So we did not get a red P here. But it's a reversal bar. Okay? We've got right here the open and high of the day levels. You see those? Within a bar. So it's reversing off of a level. We have the red X indicating a reversal short. And we have a cluster right here, right? Okay. What do we also have? Is that yellow? Got a mini magnet. So the bar closes. Our entry is 1 to 3 ticks below the low of the bar, and we're going short. See that? That's a power X because it's a reversal bar. And what was happening here? Market going up, market going up, market going up, market going up. Buyers, 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 buyers. Bunch of buyers still trying to push it, trying to push it. Sellers say, nope, we're going this way. Those buyers got left out up there. What happened to all those buyers, most likely? Their stops were down here somewhere, right? And the sellers are pushing down there. They got all these buyers to come up here and buy, 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 buy. All those buyers up here are putting their stops down here. So there's orders down here. These sellers are pushing it down. They're going to go take out those orders and go further. We got a reversal at a level. We've got a cluster. We've got absorption. And not only is there absorption to where those buyers got left up there, there's, you know, the mini magnet saying, hey, we're leaving you guys up there. That makes sense? Yeah. Yeah, Ivan, it could have been actually. Yep. Yep. See, there's all this chop in here, and then it kind of broke out this way and said, no, let's go up this way. Some people might have thought, oh, it's going to break up that way. You know, could have been a fake break too. Sure, could have been. Yeah. But do you see the power of that right there? And do you see how all of those things are coming together? We've got level, reversal, mini magnet, absorption, cluster. I like that trade. Do you? Do you want to wait and get those type of setups right there that are perfect and take this trade down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 5, 45 for 35 to 45 ticks? Or do you want to play video games and be pushing buttons all day and just take every P and every E and every X and every red arrow and yellow arrow, and you're just playing video games? Go play Wii or Nintendo. It's more, you can press buttons all day and it won't cost you near as much when you lose your trades. Right? All these trades we're teaching you, there's something to them. There's something about them. There's power behind them. There's reasons behind them. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's see here. Dennis, can the level be a swing level? It's not preferred. Okay. What we're looking for there is like a solid level, a stronger, important level, not just a swing level. Okay. So no, I do not recommend taking those on swing levels. Okay. As far as this particular Power X setup, we're looking for a set, stronger level. Okay. All right. So Power X. Let's keep moving here. So we got Power P. So we got Power X. Here's another one. Let's take a look at this Power X here. So what do we have here? Market going up. Market coming. And what are we bouncing off of right here? So we had let's make this a little bigger. Market comes up. We have a reversal bar with a long wick. We've got a cluster. And we have an X bouncing off of a level. And you can't see it clear because they're overlapping each other. What is that there? Up above here, there's several mini magnets. Okay, so there's kind of several levels it's bouncing off of. All right. So Power X, right? What do we have? Reversal bar, off a level, cluster. I mean, I like reversals off of, just the fact that it's a reversal bar off a level with a cluster is a pretty nice trade, much less a Power X. Okay, actually there was not a mini magnet right here. That yellow line was a mini magnet above it. It's kind of like a double level there. Okay, or if you have a mini magnet level close by, it can also be counted as a powerful level. Like maybe there's not a deviation or settlement level there, but it's an old mini magnet level that it's bouncing off of. That could be counted as a level as well, because we know the market likes to push away from mini magnets and then come back to mini magnets and can push off those levels as well. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I think that was a red power line, probably that red line there, David. I can't tell, either that's ice or a red power line. Laura, that's a power line, isn't it? Yeah, so that's, oh, that's, yeah, power line and a mini magnet. You see it? See the yellow and the red? So that's a nice level there. Okay. Now, what do we have here? John, yes. So this bar closes down right here, John. And after that bar closes down, you enter 1 to 3 ticks below that bar and take it down. All right. And then what do we get down here? Okay. We have the market. What do we have right here? See this yellow line? What is that? Mini magnet. And what did we just say? Did we just say that we could use existing mini magnet lines as a level? Yes. So it's bouncing off a level, right? Which also created a new swing level. The bar closes up. It's a reversal bar. What does it have on it right here? Cluster. What does it also have? X. That bar closes. I enter 1 to 3 ticks and take it up. Do you guys see that? Power X. Does that make sense? Is that simple enough? Power X. And do you like how we combine the levels, the reversal, the X, and the cluster? It's not just some random, I'm going to take this and press button trades. There's a lot of power behind that, right? Now, step back and look at this chart for a minute. What else is this right here? Market comes up, pulls down. Market comes up, pulls down. Market comes up, pulls down quite a bit on a lot more VAD volume than the last pullback, but it didn't break the price of the last pullback. This bar closes up. We enter 1 to 3 ticks on a power play number what? Number 3. Yeah, John, not a number 2. That's a number 3 there. Okay. So, what did I just have there? I had a perfect setup, right? I had a great setup for a number 3. And my entry bar on my number 3 power play also was a perfect setup for a power X. How am I feeling about that trade? I'm feeling really darn good about that trade. Ah, you didn't see that part, did you? I believe we talked about that 2 screenshots ago when I was going over a trade. How not only was it a power X or power P trade, it was also I believe another number 3 trade, right? You'll see that several times. Now, you'll see power X trades plenty of times where they're not anything else. But sometimes like this, you'll see a power X trade on the same exact setup bar as a number 3, for example. And when you get all of those combined, that's a great trade, guys. Do you not see that? Oh man, that was such a great trade. Ugh, but I need more trades because I missed it. What did you get however many bars later here? You got another sling there. You got another sling there for 10 ticks. Whatever. You got extra trades. Don't talk to me about none of trades. But guys, do you see the power of that? Like, you see this power X trade, but do you see how it's combined? And that's even better. When you've got all that stuff together, like, I don't know what else to tell you to do. Like, that's just great. Okay? Great stuff. Okay. Dinesh says, John, if you get a chance, can you tell me about Powerline? Okay, can't get into that too long, but real quick. See it right here on the chart? See the apex pattern on here, Dinesh? You see these P's? Green P, green power line. Green P, green power line. Green P, green power line. See that? Red P, power line. It's just pointing out that pivot point. That last high of that P, that last previous. Does that make sense? Okay? That's all it is. When we say power line, it'll be green or red, and it's created by the P bars. Make sense, buddy? Okay. So, and that is a valid swing level. Like sometimes you'll have a P. Check it out. Do you see this P right here? And it made a power line. That's a pivot or swing level. Okay? They're important because they were the last pivot. Okay? Eugene, that's why they're important. Like, see right here, A is alert, meaning highest high in this apex pattern. High, market comes down, makes a new low, pivots, P, and then E is our potential entry. X just means it passed that pivot point of the A. So why are they important? It's just a previous pivot or previous swing. Everybody pay attention to this right here. See that? Now I'm going to go right here and I'm going to go down to swing. I'm going to add in the swing indicator. Oh, swing indicator didn't put a swing level right there, did it? But that is technically a pullback swing level, isn't it? So when the market comes here and it breaks this level right here, it is kind of breaking a previous swing level, isn't it? Does that kind of make sense, Eugene, why they're on there? It's just part of the programming, and it shows you just, the last P, the last pivot point. Those are valid levels. Okay? Let me just look here. Okay. There we go. Yes, Dan, Ninja 8 is in the works. Our programmers are hard at work on it, and we will let everybody know once that is ready to go. David, are the dotted lines stronger? The dotted lines overall are probably your stronger swing levels, yes. Okay. Doesn't mean you can't pay attention to these other levels, though. But yes, the dotted line ones are your stronger levels. Okay, because notice here, there was a P here, so it made a line. But really, that was just an elevator. You see that? That was just one bar up, one bar down. So is that a level that could be support or resistance or a little hesitation in the market because it hesitated there before? Sure. But can you see how this big push down and then this reversal, that's a much stronger level. Does that make sense, David? Why that big reversal there would be a stronger level? Okay. And just with this swing indicator, it requires a certain amount of bars to form each way to plot it. It's not going to plot it with just every little up and down bar. Okay. Now, what can be even really good, David, is what do you see? What do you see right here? You got a green power line and the dots. So when you've got both of them combined together, that makes for a really nice area to look at, a strong level. Does that make sense? Guys, anytime you have multiple levels, like when you've got a deviation line and a power line, or when you've got a mini magnet like right close to a line, you know, those are very powerful, okay? Or you've got mini magnets and swings, or even if you have a, you know, mini magnet that's an old mini magnet that's, you know, just a few ticks away from another level, then that's a powerful area to look at. Or you've got like an old mini magnet here, and then a mini magnet here, and a mini magnet here. You know what I mean? Where you've got just an area of mini magnets. And now I'm cutting into my mini magnet webinar. Okay, that's just a strong area from top to bottom there. That's going to be a really big, you know, area of support or resistance. Or if the market's coming back up to those three, man, I'm probably tightening my stop a little bit on my trend, right? Does that make sense? If there was, you know, if there were 3 mini magnets like in a row here from past mini magnets and the market's coming up, 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 and I'm getting close to that, I'm expecting a reversal or some bounces, or for it to break that, man, it's going to have to break through with some big cluster and acceleration bolts, right? That makes sense, guys? But also, if I've got a good, strong trend going here, where's a good target for me? Yeah, I'm thinking it'll probably get up there. That's probably where it's heading before we're going to slow down. So I might not bring my stops up too tight until it does get closer up there. Okay? Yeah, absolutely, Ivan. Or well, if we were down here and the market was coming up, you know, I'd be tightening my stop when it gets close to there. Okay, Ivan? But let's say it broke through, then yeah, that's a good place for me to hide my stop behind here until it gets up a little further, sure. Okay? But yeah, if it breaks through there and it builds some volume right there and gets a cluster and all that and breaks out, it might shoot out pretty fast after that, John. Yep. Yeah, Ivan, exactly. Okay, so number 4, a reversal that has double or triple divergence with a cluster and a mini magnet on a reversal bar bouncing off a level. You kind of saw a few aspects of this in one of the videos of power play. These guys are one of my favorite trades. Okay, you don't get a ton of them all day long, kind of thing, but when they happen, they are super powerful. Okay, what do we know? Let me just pull over a quick chart here. In general, market comes up, 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 big, huge VAD. Market goes up a little higher on less volume, less VAD. What do we call that? And that's not a great example. But what do we call that? Market goes up on a lot of volume, pulls back, goes up a little further, it's losing steam, it's getting out of breath on less volume. We call it divergence, right? And you've heard me explain divergence over and over again as the market making higher highs on less volume, it's losing steam. Just like when you're running that marathon and you're going, then oh, you got to take a little break, and you go a little further up the hill and you just can't go anymore, and you try a little, you're just done, right? Even though you push and you're pushing so hard, you feel like you're trying even harder than you did the first time, but you're not getting anywhere. Divergence. Okay. Well, take a look here. Market came down. Boom, a lot of VAD, volume. Market pushed down even further, less volume. Market pushed down even further, last big push, even less volume. Right? Okay. Now, Walter, no, on that example, I wasn't comparing equal length, but I also wasn't looking for a number 1 or number 2 setup. I was just kind of explaining divergence in general of getting higher on less and higher on less and higher on, and we can't. Okay? But look at this example here. About the same move down, that volume. Little bit bigger move down, even more bar, less volume. Down, 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 less, less, less. We're running out of steam, right? Well, how many times, though, have we seen, okay, well, you know, the market went up or went down. Let me just find a quick example here. Okay, well, the market went up here. Then it went up a little more on less volume. Oh, I want to go short. Okay, well, that's not the rule of any trade setup we have, first of all. Okay, and wait, it went up on a little more volume, and then it pulled back, and then it went up on more, and then it went a little further on less. When is it going to stop? When is it going to stop going up? When is it just, right? We've all seen that. Well, is it going to keep going? Is it going to keep going? Or what's it going to do? Well, we call this double or triple divergence, right? We've got divergence here to here, and then we've got divergence here to here. Came down further, further on less, further on less. Well, we don't want to get tricked out of going the opposite way, right? But we know when it keeps going and going and getting less and less sputtered out, hey, at some point that's going to give out. So it's very simple right here, okay? What do we have? We have the double divergence. You see it? We go further down on less volume from here. We go down again, less volume here. And that final push down, what do we have right here? Levels, right? We got the low of yesterday, and we've got this new low today, and we get a reversal bar. But does that mean much to us? Because we had a reversal bar back here on divergence. Well, now we've got double divergence, reversal bar. What do you have right there? See the yellow? Cluster. See it? Also, what do you have at the bottom of that bar? You can't see it here because of this swing level. You see it right here. Mini magnet. See it? What do we have down here at the bottom of this bar? Well, we've got some yellow, hidden trapped orders, and we close up on the acceleration bar. But the rules here are you get the double or triple divergence. You get a reversal bar off a strong level. It's getting weak, and it's getting weak, and it's going and going. Then it hits a strong level, and bam, I'm done. Like, it just can't go anymore. It reverses off that level with a cluster, building up that volume, leaves a mini magnet down here, leaving those orders down here, and takes off. You see that? And you see how, for those of you that trade double and triple divergence, whether you use an apex system or some other random oscillator, you know that double and triple divergence are some of the strongest trades out there. But the key is always, well, when is it going to happen? It's strong when it happens. You might get 4 or 5 runs on divergence before it reverses. And the key is always, when do I take it and not get faked out? So you wait for at least double or triple divergence, a reversal bar out in the middle of nowhere, or a reversal bar at a level hitting resistance. Bar closes up, leaving orders down here, mini magnet with a cluster, you take it. Does that make sense? Everybody see that? Okay, so you enter, the bar closes up, you enter 1 to 3 ticks above the close of the bar. Your initial stop is 1 tick below the low of the bar. Okay, Dennis? So that's huge, because if you're familiar with divergence, you know they're powerful setups, especially double and triple. It's all about where to not get the fake ones. And when you're bouncing off a level and a mini magnet and a cluster, that's your best key to know. That's when to take it. Okay. Dinesh will be doing some webinars about the multiple different VADs over the next couple of weeks here, actually. Okay. All right. So, guys, we had power slings and elevators. We had power P's, we have power X's, and right there I just showed you double and triple divergences. On each one of these, we also talked about, or just about each one of them, we also talked about secondary entries, more entries, and we talked about how on several of these other entries can line up with other trades, right? Other power play trades. And when you have all those things together, man, it doesn't get much better than that. Okay? So, power play trades, powerful trades, seize trades, all on one chart. Plenty of different markets to watch. Do we have enough trades? Do you need more trades? Or are you going to cry me a river here? All right. You've got the 4 power play trades. I taught you 5 seize trades yesterday. We just did 4 more today. Monday, we're giving you a brand new indicator that's going to help you with some trades. We're going to talk about some more trades next week. If you're a binary or a spread trader, in a couple weeks, I'm going to give you some sneak peeks of some other Apex trade setups and systems that we're going to be releasing soon and redoing. I mean, we've just got a ton of stuff. Okay? Watch it, Walter. Walter says, John, how about some more trades? Guys, I'm just trying to show you, you've got plenty of trades here. Okay? And if you just take the time to learn these things, you have plenty of trades and plenty of great trades. Okay, so Alan says, can you show us again where this material is in the forum? Yes, Alan, I'm going to show everybody 3 different things real quick. Once again, the webinar calendar right here, click it. I think I've got 37 webinars on this calendar over the next 30 days. We've got some webinars tomorrow and Friday, Saturday. Go to next month, which is September. As you see, there's a ton of them there. Sign up and get registered for them. Some of these are pre-recorded. You can watch them anytime. Okay? That's the first place. Secondly, this webinar today, where will it be recorded at? Where is the recording at? If I miss any of those webinars on the calendar, where can I watch them at? Go right here to webinars, open house webinars. Any webinars we do during open house are all put right here. You can go through and click them and watch them. You don't have to do each one in order and answer a quiz question. You can go to wherever you want. The one I did yesterday teaching the 5 C's trades up setups overview is right there at the bottom. This one I'm doing right now will be at the bottom in a little bit. Okay, so that's the webinars. If you're on the home page here or anywhere, you go to this tab right here, Alan, Help Desk and Forum. You go to the Trading Questions Forum. Okay, so you'll be able to go back and rewatch this video, but you also go to the forum, go down to S10, okay, and find S10Cs, and you go to Ultimate Power Play right here. Same place you went for the initial power play training. And remember, for the power play training, you went right here to this one. We now added this one above it. It says Additional Powerful Setups. You just click that, and it'll go through that forum post I just walked you through. Power slings, power P's, power X's. Got that? Okay. Let's see here. Thank you, Walter. I appreciate it, man. Daryl and I actually knew each other, oh gosh, 17 years ago. Way before Apex days, way before trading days. Yep. Yep, we've known each other for a long time. Douglas, is there a template for C's that paints the mini magnets and the X, or is that something I have to add? You just have to turn them on, Douglas. And so, Douglas, are you using The C's OP, yes, you're using C's OP. Okay. Yeah, like C's OP has the stars, but not the X and not the mini magnets. We are going to be putting in a new template probably by Monday that will have those on there. Otherwise, if you want on there, because Monday we're going to also have the new indicator, remember? Okay. So, Matt, what about red and green eye zone? No, I would not use those as levels on these trades as of right now. Okay. So let's just take a look here. Douglas, I'm sorry. Yeah, Douglas. All right. So you were using C's OP template right here, right? Okay. All you got to do is this. Right click on the chart. Go to indicators. Okay. And in the indicators over here, you'll find institutional order prints. Because remember, absorption, stars, clusters, mini magnets, that's all part of OP, order prints, right? So you click that. Now, don't go through all here and get confused. Each little thing is broken down and, you know, in colors and settings and all that. Okay? What you want to do is go right here to display options. It's O3 number 1 display options. You see that? Okay. So what you're wanting is number 16, show absorption, right? Because the X is our absorption, right? Is yours set to false right now? Yep, should be set to false. So you'd want it to say true. Okay. The other thing you want is right here, show mini magnets. You'd want that to say true. Okay. Does that make sense? Do you see those two? I had mine on, but yours should both say 0, 0. Okay. The color opacity for M&Ms is set to 1 in the C's OP template. Color opacity for mini magnets. Okay, so you have it set to true. I mean, it just makes it lighter. It's just the opacity. You can set it to 3 if you want. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. It keeps it in the background. All right, so you see how to turn those on? So if you guys want to turn those on, you can. Okay. Now, all right, yeah, and we're going to have some new templates coming out on Monday with the new indicator as well. Okay. All right, guys, I have kept y'all for 2 hours and 15 minutes here. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. JW, we use our own, actually, this is our own, order prints is our own Apex programming. It doesn't, what time do you start today? Well, at midnight. I mean, you can see that like on diagnostic bars here. Like if you go back to like midnight right here, sometimes you'll see like only a partial bar or something. Okay. Okay, guys, was that helpful? 4 new trades for you. Showing you some additional trades, secondary entries, showing you how 2 different trades can line up. Talked a little bit about how to read the market a little bit, things to look for. I hope it was worth staying on here for 2 hours. I'll get this webinar recording posted out to you. I'm also going to throw it in the training course. And then once again, we've got a lot of webinars coming your way. Okay. And we're going to really jump into some order print stuff here. And tomorrow, make sure to hop on, and we're just going to do a quick kind of overview of the Apex Mentor program, and you guys are going to love that. So thanks for your time, guys. Thanks for your interaction. Walter, some of the Nadex stuff will be live and some won't. If you go to the calendar there, it'll tell you which ones that you can watch now and then which ones will be live. Okay, next Tuesday, when I show you how to take some extra or different binary trades, that one will be live. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Rewatch this video. Check out that forum post. Start looking for these trades tomorrow in the Elite Room. Okay, we will see you then. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great one. And no, you don't need more trades. You got them. All right. Bye, guys.